offensive coordinator, Chad Scott. Questions for Coach Scott?
Chad, just give me an overview of the offense. I mean, you're just getting started for the spring, but a lot of pieces back. So what do you think of the group?
I thought I was real excited about the group. I thought the organization was really good today. Speaking of, the execution, communication, I thought that was really good, really smooth today. Took care of the ball for the most part. Ball went on the ground, played clean ball. Guys were off the ground, and I thought the guys were, flying around and, looking like they've been here before.
Asked this of Jordan just a second ago. You don't have as many newcomers on your side of the ball as he does, but you get some. So give me a quick look of what you see out of the guys who just got here in January.
Yeah, I thought Justin Brady, man, he's explosive. He looked really good today. He looks fast. He's a big guy, he's fast, he's experienced, catches the ball really well, plays really hard. He looked good today. He flashed today big time. So, and he's had a phenomenal offseason as well. And, got some couple young guys, and Clay Ash has been a phenomenal guy. He's worked hard, walk on back, and Jackson Marcos, been working really hard. So we got a couple new guys that's been doing good, and also some of the guys that's young in the program that hadn't played a lot last year, like some of the young offensive linemen and young quarterbacks.
This time last year, we were talking about you stepping into the offensive coordinator role. What did you learn from that experience throughout the whole year? Now, has that kind of changed your coaching style in a sense?
Learned a lot. First of all, to be patient. That's one of the biggest things. Be patient, and putting call plays and put guys in positions that's gonna make plays with the ball in the hand, and also finding different ways to get the ball in all the playmakers' hand and being balanced. But helps you see the game a whole lot more differently. I don't fly around and run up and down the sidelines as much as I used to in the past. That's probably one of the biggest adjustments, not running around, run up and down the sideline. The biggest thing, being able to see what's going on the field, to give suggestions towards run game or pass game adjustments, could be in the pass pro adjustments, and so which allowed the game to slow down a whole lot more for me to be able to see the picture in every position's view, not just running backs. It's always easy for me to see it from a running back standpoint and give suggestions in that regard, but in that particular role, being a coordinator, just being able to see the defense and adjustments for the receivers and tight ends and particularly O-line in certain situations to help those guys out. So a lot less run up and down the sideline to get that done.
You still got it though, right?
Still got it.
How different is it without Frazier's voice and trying to grow acclimated to that?
I was different. There's no question. It's different. It's different. He was different, and obviously, kind of player he was made him different. But the good thing for us, Coach Moore did a great job, not just last year, past couple of years, we were always rotating guys and being versatile and how we use those guys up front. And so it is different, but the great thing, like Yates has done a great job. Coach Moore's done a great job putting Yates in the center position last year when Frazier was out, and so it's different, but it's it's a lot of familiarity there with communication and playing the position since we moved those guys around a lot last year.
With him gone, there's a void there. I'm not talking so much about talent on the field, but what he did with the team and calling stuff and stuff like that. How does that feel?
Absolutely. That's a huge loss. Now, there's no question. It's a big void. Some of the guy that started every game since he's been here other than one game. So that's a huge void we lost in Frazier, no question. Just his sheer presence, his physicality, the way he plays the game, in every regard. So it's huge. It's huge to lose a guy like that. But, obviously we got to move forward. But he did it. Frazier did a phenomenal job as a leader, and not more vocal as a leader, but more so in the way in which he worked, in which he studied the game outside of the game. And I think the guys, particularly, like Yates, did a phenomenal job, paying attention to how he worked outside of practice, outside of games, that made him the kind of player that he was on the football field. So I believe his leadership and the things he did to help those guys with their game is something that those guys now take over.
That can fill that role?
Yeah. Sir?
Is there someone there that can fill that role?
Well, nobody's gonna be Frazier, but we got Brandon Gates that's gonna step in. He's gonna do a phenomenal job for us, and like I said, he got a lot of work, and he got in-game reps at center too. But obviously, I mean, that Frazier, I mean, he's one-on-one. There's nobody like that kid. He's absolutely special. But Brandon Yates will step in and fill that role and do a phenomenal job in the way in which he does it.
With a lot of youth in your wide receiver room, what exactly are you looking for with them taking a next step this spring?
Just the growth, man. Exactly right. Just taking that next step. What is that next step? You know, obviously, just seeing those guys as freshmen with probably not as many expectations coming into the season. They did a great job, exceeding whatever those expectations were. But now with the success they had and the playmaking they showed, and now with the expectations that's placed upon them, it's time for them to take that next step. What is that next step? You know, being able to consistently win the one-on-one battles, and to consistently win, versus press, to consistently be able to win versus what we call catch man technique, when it's a man technique, but they're playing off of those guys. So take the next step in that regard. Take the next step where now these guys, defensive coordinators and defensive players alike, they're going to target you now. They're going to study for you. They're going to game plan for you. Being able to go win your one-on-one battles knowing that you're going to be a focal target.
What's the next step for Jaheim?
To become an every down back. And when I say every down back, I was at first and second down. That kid's absolutely special. He could be special on third down, but he's got to be a third down back. So what does he need to work on this spring in particular is pass pro recognition, not necessarily just to pick up part. He's pretty strong, really savvy in his ability to be able to mix up, picking it up and cut blocking. He's got to become very comfortable picking it up and recognizing it just as if he does carrying the football. And if he can become a three down back, I literally just told him that's a great question. If he can become a three down back where his confidence and recognizing the different looks and different ways they try to trick him on pass pro, wow, he's going to be on a whole nother level because he's special.
That just come with experience, film study. I mean, how does that?
Obviously, the more experience he becomes, he'll get much better at it. But with the kind of talent he has, continuous film study, when he's not in the game at practice, like the mental reps, the mental focus, whereas last year he might not have been as in tune if he wasn't in the game paying attention. He's got to take that next step when he's not in the game, putting himself in the shoes of the back that's in the game in practice, and see the pros just as if that he was in the game. So a lot more, like I say, film study, which he's done a really good job of that. The mental reps on the field. And then also like times when he's not in the game, in particular in practice or whatever, special team, he may not be on, me taking that time to go work on different looks for him so he can see it.
Chad, just the number of running backs you had last year, a good thing, but just a complication too, trying to figure out how to spread them out in practice in the games. Very different now. I guess the plan's always the same, but just like what you're working with and how you stage things, how different is that this year?
Say it one more time.
The number of backs you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different number. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you want the same process, right? But like just how you go about putting people in spots and just progressing them through this spring. How much has that changed from this time last year, or even the summer last year?
What's changed a lot now? Obviously, like CJ's, he's very minimal this spring, no contact at all. And so, obviously, Jaheim, now you got Jaheim and Jalen being the only two scholarship backs we have right now. So those guys get a lot of work. I won't try to overwork them. We got Clay Ash is really good size and has had a phenomenal all season thus far, so he'll get some work. And Judah Price, he'll get some work too. He's got to continue to put on weight to be able to withstand the physicality and picking up the blitz and all that. But he'll get some work as well. But just having those four guys, two of the guys on scholarship, Jalen and Jaheim, may get a lot of work.
Jalen probably didn't have the season that he wanted or
Right.
wanted last year. Anything in particular that you've talked to him about or you focus on now, because it does seem like you need him?
Yeah, I tell you the best thing about Jalen in regards to what you just said, it was his self-awareness. He was very, very self-aware kid, really aware of the way he played, the way he practiced, the way he prepared. Understood that he hadn't, to this day, he hadn't put his best foot forward from a consistency standpoint. He's shown flashes via practice and in games, but has not shown the consistency in practice for that, those habits to carry over in the game for him to play at a high level. And he's very aware of that. I've always been honest with him, so it wasn't a situation where he thought one thing and was told something different, and which caused him to want to leave. he wanted to hang around because he understood that he hadn't put his best foot forward and that his best ball's ahead of him. And one of those ways, what are one of those things you're talking about? Just playing fast. Very smart kid, has really good talent, just practicing fast to play fast. And that's his biggest primary focus this spring is practice fast. And today he did that. He made some plays too. So if we can get his best was being consistent, playing fast, and with his ability, that'd be huge for us.
You see that with him last year? You had good guys in front of him, but if you couldn't trust him to be consistent, it's hard to give him opportunities then?
Yeah, it's hard. And then particularly when you got guys with talent, you know, we always talk about does your talent equal your production? You know, if you're a talented, produce. And so you get your opportunity, you got to produce, particularly when you got as much talent as we have in that room, you got to produce. If you could consistently produce at that level, we find ways to get you the ball. But you got to be able to do that on a consistent basis so it's not to take away the opportunity for somebody else that can make those plays and take care of the football. And so, like I said, he's very self-aware and had a phenomenal offseason, best offseason he's had since he's been here. And so talked about him carrying that momentum into spring ball, which day one for one, day one. If he continue to do that for the next 14 and into the summer, into the season, be awesome.
Wait, did I hear you right when you said that Jalen wanted to leave and someone told him some stuff that wasn't true? Is that what you said?
No, just, you know, if it was like, I've always been truthful with him. So it was never a deal where he thought one thing and I was telling him something different. So I've always been truthful with him, you know, in terms of how he's done on and off the field. And so when at the end of the season, we had a one-on-one conversation, you know, he's very understanding of things that he needs to do to get better. And it wasn't something where he thought he should have played more or less based on whatever. He always knew the good he did, the bad he did, how he could improve. And so with that kind of transparent feedback between the both of us, he understood that he can do those things to become a better football player consistently. So.
Young receivers, a bunch of freshmen who played last year, bigger, stronger this year. What's Rodney, Hudson,
You're gonna see
Traylon look like?
confident, way more confident. Those guys made some, and I'm not saying they didn't have the confidence last year. They had the confidence, but it was also they also understood that they weren't as strong as they knew they potentially could be. And of course, they're young guys, freshmen, but and so that was their primary focus this offseason was getting stronger. So they're gonna be able to withstand that, you know, the physicality and the blocking and you know even in the coverages when they banging back and forth. But both those guys got strong. I thought they got a lot more explosive this offseason as well. I thought they really was very intentional about becoming more explosive and getting stronger by taking advantage of open hours, extra hours, staying a little later. And it showed today. Those guys made some big plays today.
Where's Rodney at specifically? I know learning how to run routes, learning how to play wide receiver was a focus for him this offseason.
I thought he took a good step today, this offseason rather, and it showed today. He did a good job running some routes, getting open. And that's going to be huge for us. A kid like that special with the ball in his hand. We can always find ways to get in the ball, but if he can, run those routes, which is what he's done this all season, and learn how to get open on his own with those techniques, that's going to be huge for us. And I thought T-Ray, like his confidence today, he's explosive.
You mentioned Garrett wasn't going to be here today. So just, I guess, how did Nico do as kind of QB1?
They're really good. And I'm going to speak on one play in particular. He had a bad habit of, just staring down, defenders all the time and making poor decisions. And today he made a throw, fourth touchdown to E.J. Horton, whereas if he would have just stared at the defender, just staring at the defender alone, would have told him not to throw the ball because that defender was in the way. He looked at, the coverage. He looked at the coverage and the grass, and based on the coverage and the grass, that decision, it told him to throw the ball, and it looked like a scary throw. And it was a phenomenal throw. It was the right decision. And he went for a touchdown. And I ran out there and celebrated with him as if today was his birthday. Because it's those little things like that when it's something that, you harp on all the time, over and over, and they don't get it. And when they finally do it, that's got to be the biggest moment. And I was slow calling the next play because I ran out there in the field to make sure he knew that was awesome. And he did that. So that kid's taking the next step. He also, besides that throw, he made a tight window throw today. That was a huge, improvement for him as well. Very tight window throw. Phenomenal throw by him. Phenomenal catch by Hudson Clement. I mean, it was guys all around. But at the ball, that space to throw that to make that throw was about this tight. He made it, and we caught it. So he took a big step today.
About a half dozen young linemen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores.
Yeah.
You know, their time's soon going to come, but you seen improvement of them? Or are they getting close to where you want them to be?
And it's hard to say that, like the first day, just having helmets in spite of the pass. But the one thing I do see, no, not a lot of mistakes, if at all any mistakes, and that's huge. The confidence, you know, that's one issue. You know, most of those guys, the young guys had last year, just confidence and just knowing what to do. So today I thought it was clean ball. They knew what to do, and that's a testament to stuff we do in the off season. You know, once we got the road recruiting, we spent a lot of time with those guys in February. In preparing for this, and those guys did a great job, you know, being attention about paying attention and taking advantage of open hours. So today I saw the confidence in those guys to know exactly where to go, who to work to. So it'll be exciting to see in the next couple of days when we get full pads, them taking the knowledge of what they know now from a physicality standpoint and getting it done.
Everybody talked a lot last year about John Williams in terms of his potential. Is that potential being, you know, approved? I mean, have you found that he's getting to where you want him to be?
Absolutely. John Williams going to be special. Athletic. He's tough. He's physical. Long arms. And he's a smart kid on top of it. And he's a highly intelligent kid, too. Very engaged. And he does a great job of getting mental reps from YS and does a great job in meetings as well. So excited about Johnny.
With Cole Taylor limited, what does that
Yeah, so Cole's out. Cole's out this spring.
So what does that do for the rest of the tight end room?
Allow them to get better. We need Will Dixon to take the next step. I thought Will did really good today. He got lined up properly because Will's a big kid, athletic, tough. And so we really need Will to come on. Traylon Davis is obviously, really good for us, and he knows offense very well, blocks really well. And so we know what those two guys can do in Cole and Traylon Davis. We need Will Dixon to take the next step, and I thought today was a really good step for him. When I say that, like he got lined up properly, he knew what to do, and knowing what to do and get lined up gives him the confidence to go make the plays he knows he's capable of making.
Okay, anything else for Coach? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you all.